On the 8th of July, Uranus is going to move into the sign of Gemini. It is going to leave the slow and steady fields of Taurus and move into the fast-paced, mind-based sign of Gemini. And that is going to change a lot of things, but what exactly does it mean for your business? In this video, I'm going to show you how Uranus has shaped the online business world over the last a lot of years. And I'm going to show you how you can work with this energy with your business. If this is your first time here, my name is Jay. If you've been here before, welcome back. I'm an astrologer and a business coach, and I'm here to help you build a Saturn-proof business that it not only is profitable, but feels good in your body too. So if that sounds good, maybe consider subscribing. Well, back in Uranus and Pisces, which was probably before 2011, this was internet marketing, online business, whatever you want to call it. It was more of a dream. Everything was romanticized. It was idealized. It was put on a pedestal. And not very many people went for it. Some people did, others didn't, but it just seemed a little bit too out there. Yeah? It seemed a little bit far to reach. You've seen all these online gurus spamming the internet with pictures of flashy cars, Lambos, houses, and it just seemed a little bit out of reach. There was probably a few that started to learn about it then, but there was not as many that came online. Then we had Uranus in Aries. Now that changed the game completely, because Aries energy is all about doing. It's all about being the one that goes first. It's all about fast movement. No, not sitting waiting on it, fighting for it. And then when Uranus went into Aries, that is exactly what we've seen with online business. We started to see the birth of the bro marketer, the one that comes out and is able to get you motivated enough to take action. They all started to appear with all these complicated funnels, with all these complicated sales scripts, with all these different, all these things that basically brought you into that hustle culture. Yeah. And then as we moved to the end of Uranus and Aries, we started to see the cracks. People started to burn out. People weren't able to sustain what they had built. Uranus moved into Taurus, which is about slowing things down. It's about making things steady. It's that you can have that stuff, but you don't have to do it a million miles per hour. Get it going and slow and bring it down, slow and steady. As you can see here, things are correcting for every sign. Pisces didn't want to do anything. Aries corrected for that. Aries done too much. Taurus is corrected for that. And when Uranus was in Taurus, one of the things that has really started to grow in the online marketing and business space is soft power, soft marketing, taking the edge off of the harshness of the Aries energy. Remember, Aries is ruled by Mars, so it is quite harsh and in your face. Whereas Taurus softened that. It sort of mellowed out the bro marketers, if you like. Now, there are some people that are still stuck in bro marketing and that are in and out of these burnout cycles and that are stuck. People get stuck along the way. Some people are stuck in the dream. Some people are still stuck in the doing. Now people are going to get stuck not wanting to move forward with Taurus, because it's about staying slow, steady, and consistent. Whereas when the energy moves into Gemini, it's a totally different vibe shift. So I've got some things here that are going to help us understand what Uranus and Gemini is going to be doing for our business. Now, the first thing with Gemini is they are very multi-passionate. Yeah, so when Uranus is coming in there, it's like, okay, you can have that slow and steadiness, but you don't have to be so rigid. You can have a little bit of curiosity. You can have a little bit of this and a little bit of that. It's okay to be multi-passionate. Now, my take on this for your business, to be able to use this, is not about going after a niche, right? It's more about having that umbrella, but yeah, you can do little wee things. Yeah, don't need to box yourself in. Like, one of the things that I see, or one of the things that I would say is, if you like, for me, a channel about astrology for business. Yes, that's your main umbrella. That makes your content creation easier, because like if you're on a day where you're just not feeling it, then you can lean on that to say what's easy, what you know, the stuff that just flows out of the tongue. So it helps you stay consistent. on other days when you're feeling a little bit more creative and you want to test different things, or you want to do it, or you just want to create for the fun of it, then do it. Show that video of you baking even though you're a fitness channel. Yeah, it doesn't matter. One video is not going to kill the algorithm. And that's what this energy is going to want you to do. It's going to want you to explore and be multi-passionate and not tie yourself in. I like to look, instead of choosing a niche with my clients, I like to say, choose a person. What are their topics? What are their interests? Because then when you look at their interests, all their interests are astrology for business is their main interest, because that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to grow their business. But then underneath that, they like doing their exercise, but not too much that they're becoming athletes. Then there may be they like doing a little bit of creative stuff. Maybe they're into landscape photography. Maybe they like to see the world, and I can take them out on a photography trip and show them that this is what I do. Yeah, that you could just be multi-passionate, be curious, and be creative, and especially with your content. Yeah, because content is gonna be a big thing. And it brings me on to my next point. A lot of people are gonna come onto content creation. If you look back to 1940 odds, when Uranus was in Gemini, we had 4. It was all about propaganda. That sort of a messaging started to spread, the good and the bad. That could be potentially happening again, but this time we have different ways and means of doing it. We have got YouTube, we've got social media, we've got all these different things, Google, all that. And I can see a lot of people are going to get brave and start to come online, and there's going to become even more content out there. Now, one thing with Gemini energy is when Gemini doesn't feel safe, they tend to over-explain. They tend to go in one route and they go in tangents, and a 5-minute video could turn into a 30-minute video. Yeah? And that's because they're trying to get their point across, and they're trying to make sure they've covered everything so it looks like they're smart because they've got all this information in there. So if you're a content creator and you're coming online, watch out for that, because I feel like when you're doing this, and if it's new to you, or if you're coming online to create content and you're just not used to this energy, then it could start to feel like that you have to explain everything. Another thing with this energy, it could make you, especially when it comes to content, it starts to make you overthink your content. Should I be doing that? Shouldn't I be doing that? Is this the best video? Is this not the best video? Let's look at the analytics. Let's get into the nitty gritty. And before you know it, the clogs in your heads are going round and round and round and round and spinning. That's the kind of Gemini energy that I can see coming for content creators. I think as well, with Uranus energy, it's about being authentic. It's not tying yourself down to the chains of what everybody else thinks that you should be doing. It's about breaking free from those chains and saying things that need to be said. And with Gemini, I think it is more about what needs to be said, because it's ruled by Mercury. Mercury is your voice. So when you're got the planet that wants you to change and break free with the sign that wants you to communicate, then as more people are going to say the things that need to be said. And I would say that that's where you want to be so clear on your message. That is one thing that you need to work on throughout this time, is building a message that is really, really strong, that stands for what you do. So that when people see it, and so when people hear it, they're like, oh, that's the guy. Yeah? And if you start to do that, I think the information will spread. Things are going to happen so much faster than what they did with Uranus and Taurus. Gemini energy is so much faster. Another thing with content, and this is more the monetizing of content. Let me have a wee drink of coffee. I was on a roll. The other thing with content is people are going to start to, like we said, information is going to spread a little bit faster. Things are going to move in that respect a little bit faster. So if things are moving faster, people are trusting you a little bit faster, then they're ready to move, right? But the problem is, especially with coaches, the problem is they want their audience to go from here to here, because their products are maybe like £2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, whatever it is. So they want her audience to go from cold to sold. And it's not that simple. Yeah? Especially with Gemini energy, to get them from here to there. Gemini wants to test the water. It wants to be curious. Now, if you are wanting somebody to be curious with £5,000. You even just saying that, you know how ridiculous that sounds. However, what I like to do is I like to create portal offers. These are little offers that you can put out that are low ticket. You can record them once, put them on automation so that they are evergreen and they just sell. Yeah. And what this does is it allows your audience to come in, test the waters, see what information you've got, be a little bit curious, and then they can, however you choose to get them to the next stage, whether that be to sell them into your £5,000 program or whatever it is. But that is going to have to be a step. Give people what they want. They want to be curious with this energy. Yeah? So give them stuff that lets them be curious, that lets them test the water, that lets them see what's going on. Now, you've got to remember, Gemini's a bit of a social butterfly. Yeah? Uranus wants change. And it's it takes 7-8 years for Uranus to move through a sign. So it is a collective. It is on the collective. So you've got this sign who's all about talking and communicating, and this is about the voice. And then you've got the sign of change, break free, don't be held down, liberate yourself. So when that comes to your groups, your communities, what I can see here is Gemini on his negative can be a little bit of a gossip. So there could be some of that going on here, but there's also that chance for you to come together and be chatty and be friendly and be all that stuff to bring people together. So I'm going to take you back to when I was about 5 or 6, and it was in Hogmanay, or the 31st of December. And when it got to midnight, going into the 1st of January, we used to always go around to the neighbours, but you wouldn't go empty-handed. You would take shortbread, or you would take whiskey, or you would take something. And it was known as first footing. And as I get older, I remember a few years of doing this, but you would party till like 4 a.m. I remember a few years of doing this, but then that sort of broke away. It sort of changed. I was like, are we doing it this year? Parents would be like, not this year. And then it just never happened. And I feel like we've kind of came into this place where we just sort of stay in our own wee bubble. There isn't that sort of local community the same as it used to be years ago. Definitely not here in Scotland. I mean, I know, like, for myself, I spend a lot of time doing my own thing in my community and going with my friends and my local circle, if you like. And I think that community is what people crave. And you have that opportunity. There's that opportunity to make the world even smaller by bringing people into your own community. And I think that is going to be a big thing with Uranus and Gemini energy, because it gives you that place where you can all shoot the breeze. Yeah? I like to say Gemini they're not very deep, they're pretty surface level. Yeah, so it's not like the deep conversations that is going to be going on in these communities. It's going to be shooting the breeze, shooting the shit, if you like, yeah? So, if that's the case, you need giving your people a place to do that, where they can come together and be in a community that they can shoot the breeze, is going to be something that is really important for your business as well. So the last thing I want to talk about is technology, systems and AI specifically for business, because I do see this changing. I do see things. I see social media platforms, content platforms growing, and I see them falling as well. Now, the first system that I think we should all be adopting, for this reason specifically, that platforms are going to rise and platforms are going to fall. Even the ones you don't think just now, something could change with them. I don't think the landscape of social media, content platforms and all that are going to look the same in 7 years, 8 years, whatever it is. I don't think it's going to look the same. Now, the thing is, if any of these platforms decide to close their doors, if any of these platforms decide to shut down, or a glitch happens or something happens over the next 7 years, and you are relying on that platform for your business, then you've lost your business overnight or in a few hours, depending on what it is. And I've seen this happen when there was glitches with Instagram, and I've seen people lose 10,000 followers when I work with my agency clients. So I've seen it happen, and I think this is going to happen more over the next 7 years. So what do you do to combat that? Well, you build an email list. You start to own your own data, because right now, if your business is built on Instagram, Instagram owns your business, really, because they own your data. Facebook, wherever it is. they own that information. But if you build your email list, that is data that you own yourself. That means if a platform dies, you can say to your email list, come and follow me here, and they can all move over. But if you don't build that email list, then you're not got that opportunity to move people if anything does happen, which I do see. Some platforms will rise, some will fall. New ones will emerge, old ones will die. I see that happening over the next few years. Use tools to help you. Stop trying to do everything yourself. I specifically use a tool. I don't want to spend a lot of time on Instagram, so I use a tool that helps me cut up reels and I can schedule, and that's all done within an hour or something because it doesn't take me any time. Using these tools are going to help you. Yeah, they're going to save you time. Using other forms of AI, like with Canva, to make new graphics, to make branding stuff, AI that way, there's loads of different things. What you need to learn though, or what you need to do, is embrace these things. I'm going to, the elephant in the room when it comes to system and tech is funnels. Because funnels do get that, so they came out around the Uranus and Aries stage, and they got really, really complicated. But having a funnel that collects an email and then, or has a sales page or whatever, that is just one funnel that leads people into your world, that is important. Yeah. If you want to be able to take your hands off your business and go and do other stuff, that is important. If you don't have something like that, then you're always going to have to come back and do things manually, which takes up all your time. And that is one thing. If you want a Saturn-proof business that is sustainable, it can eat up all your time. So you need to have tools, funnels, that can help you. And funnels, they're your words. You are the best person to sell your product because it's your product. So you are the best salesperson for that. And the funnel is your words. It's you on video. It's you in text. It's whatever. So if you're not doing anything that you shouldn't be on that funnel, then it's not a bad thing. Funnels become a problem when it's the person that is the other side of the funnel that's making things not that great. And you don't have to have anything complicated. Collect an email, sell your product, thank you, and they're now in your world and they've paid you. That is all you need. It makes life simple. Take the stuff you've learned with Uranus and Taurus, if you have, that makes things slow and steady. But just remember, with Uranus and Gemini, things are going to be a little bit faster. Things are going to change. Gemini's all about the pivot. Yeah? You need to be adaptable. You need to move quick. And that's going to happen. Have that little bit of a pause before that pivot as well. Because you don't want to be going too fast. It's a little bit impulsive, like Aries energy. You just want to go fast, think, go fast. Think, go fast. Because I think people are going to pivot. There's going to be a lot of pivoting going on. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you've got any questions about what Uranus and Gemini means for your business, if you want me to go into anything a little bit deeper, then leave it in the comments. And I'll get back to you in the comments, or I might even create another video for you. If you want to book an intensive with me, then go down into the description. I'll leave all the links there. And have an awesome week. And I will see you in the next video.